All right. So we're starting off on our backs in constructive rest. And it's Juneteenth, which is a holiday I didn't know about for 99% of my life. So this is the day that enslaved folks in Texas learned that they had actually been freed and no one told them for 2 years. And so I think it's a good reminder of, there's this concept in yoga, Viveka Kyati, which is discriminating awareness, which I think is just a reminder of we don't always know what's true. And so it can be work in terms of sorting out what's fact from fiction, and that sometimes what we believe is true is only as good as who's telling the story. And we all come to each moment with our own preconceptions, our own experience, our own assumptions. And so in our physical yoga practice, as we start to move and we practice Viveka Kyati, we're going to move slow enough so that we can decide what's right and true for us in each moment. And just because I say something doesn't mean it's something that you need to buy into or you need to try. And so we'll breathe in and out through the nose if that works for you this morning. And then let's cross the right ankle over the left knee, far enough over that your ankle has some freedom. And we'll just kind of tick-tock from side to side. Your right foot and knee might come to the ground on either side of your body, but that might be way too much. So you can just kind of decide how far feels safe for you. It might be nice to have the arms out nice and wide. And then the next time you come back into center, go ahead and hold your left leg. So either holding the back of the leg or the front of the shin. Just beginning a conversation with our bodies and our breath. So as you bring that left knee in, you might notice, pretty strong sensation in your right hip. And you just start to kind of talk to that sensation either with your breath or with, actual words in your head. Release your hold on your left leg, but keep the position, keep the shape. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And then see if you can use the strength of your left leg to pull the whole leg situation in closer to your chest. And then curl your chest up off the floor. Press your low back down into the ground. So the more you press down, we're kind of like right below your navel, the more your hips and your chest will be able to lift up. And then you can think about just trying to slide your elbows forward past your shin. That might not even happen, but here is going to be plenty of work too. So you're breathing. And then we'll release. You can unwind the legs. Give them a little rock from side to side. And then we'll do the other side. So left ankle over right thigh, far enough so that your ankle still can move around. And we'll just tick tock from side to side. You can start to sync this up with the rhythm of your breathing. And then we'll draw that right leg in, holding the back of the thigh, the front of the shin. You can even just prop this foot up on a wall. And you just start that conversation with your left hip. And so when I say conversation, that could be, just having your attention be really focused on what's going on in the hip. You could imagine moving your breath down into that space and see how that feels. And then you could actually be talking to yourself, like, okay, you are holding on really tight. There's probably a good reason for that at some point. But this is a safe place. And if there's space to let go of it, you can let go. This is how it goes in my head. So having that conversation in any way that makes sense for you. And you'll notice the ways that your mind naturally wants to wander, and you'll gently bring it back to what's happening right now. This pose that we're taking, stretch in the hip. And then we'll release the leg, but hold the position. And using your right leg, you'll either use it just to kind of maintain, or maybe you bring your left shin a little closer to you, arms up. Breathe in. And then on your exhale, lift up. Shoulders lift, maybe the hips lift. You're pressing down from right below the navel. If this feels like too much on your left knee, take your right leg a little further away from you. And it's work, so you know, you might be shaking a little bit. Let's take one more breath in and then release. Kind of windshield wiper. I'm gonna roll over to either side. Come on up. We're gonna set up our belly bolster. So you have a blanket, you might have a towel. And you're gonna fold it up so that you have something that's about as narrow as your two front hip points, your ASIS bones. And you're gonna roll it up just a bit. I mean, it could just be enough just to fold it over once. You might roll it up a little bit more. So you have something like this. If you have one of the like gorgeous balls from Yoga Tune-Up, or you have something similar to this, these are nice too. But a blanket or a towel will work just fine. And we're gonna set up so that we take the pubic bones, the bottom front of the pelvis, and we're gonna put it right up on the blanket. And then you'll slide back a bit. So that's gonna take all of your soft lower belly and kind of lift it up and bring it a little bit forward towards your heart, out of your pelvis. And you might want to stay upright on your forearms. If this feels like a lot, you can ease into it slowly. You could come down and stack the hands and rest your forehead down, or you could take your arms down by your sides. And then you're just breathing. So having a conversation with your belly. Your belly might be talking pretty loud. So can you breathe in a way that reminds your nervous system that you're safe right now? And for me, that looks like big inhales into the blanket or into the towel, almost like you're pushing it away with your inhale. And then in your exhale, how soft can you let the belly be so that the blanket sinks in a little deeper? And if I've had like a big meal the night before, or just haven't done this in a while, or have been really stressed, because we hold a lot of that right in here. This looks like, 10 to 20 breaths before I'm able to really relax the belly. So just like a little bit at a time. So there's this focus on what's going on right on the blanket, and then you can kind of spread your awareness out too, and notice in reaction to the sensation of having this blanket push into your belly, are you tensing up elsewhere? So check it in with your jaw, your armpits, your inner thighs. Any of the areas where you might start to brace against in the presence of really fear, like just feel a little scary. So deep behind the blanket, close to really connected to the sides of your spine, or your psoas muscles that attach to the vertebrae from your rib cage down, and then attach right into the top of your inner thigh bones. Really tuned into your stress response. These muscles are really tuned in. So this is a nice way with the breath work to remind this area that it's okay to stand down. This area can get really held. And if you've gone through a prolonged period of stress, as we all have over the last, 18 months through the pandemic, the tissue can just kind of get like dried out and kind of like stuck in place. And so this is a nice way to help it release. Could you slide your hips back even more so the blanket kind of continues a journey up the belly? And if you get to a place where something's pushing back at you, like you can feel like a really strong heartbeat really pushing into the blanket, wiggle your hips a little bit from side to side, maybe shift a little bit more back so that that's not so intense. And then tuck your right toes under. And our legs start at the hips, but I want you to imagine that they actually start up around the bottom of the rib cage, up around the navel. And with your right toes tucked under, start to slide down from there, from the navel, from the bottom of the rib cage, as if you could slide a root right down the side of your spine, down the inseam of your right leg, and out through the inner arch, the inner heel. And then release that, and we'll do the other side. Tuck the left toes under, imagining your left leg starts in your upper belly, and you can slide the roots down, like right along the left side of the spine, right down the inseam of that left leg and out through the inner arch. How does it feel to breathe? And then release that. You can bend both knees and tick-tock the legs from side to side. Crawling up onto your forearms. And we're gonna bend the right knee. Reach back and see if you can reach the foot. And it might be enough to stay just like this, holding the foot. But maybe you can bring the foot down towards the right butt. So half frog pose, Bakasana. If the heel comes pretty close to that outer seat, you can kind of like spin your hand around so that the heel of the hand is on the top of the foot. The fingers can curl forward. It's asking a lot of the quad. So don't worry if you're here still, that's fine. Let's all just, again, imagine that the leg starts right around the bottom of the rib cage, and you can send that root again down right side of the spine and right down the right inseam of the thigh. And you're still breathing, right? On purpose. And we'll release that foot. Wiggle the hips a little bit from side to side. We're going to do the other side. So bending the left knee. Reach back for the foot. Maybe bring it in a little closer. And we'll imagine that the left leg starts right around the navel, right around the bottom of the rib cage, sliding down the left side of the spine, down through the inseam of that left thigh. And then release. You can take the blanket out. And we'll press into a child's pose. You can always have your forehead on a block or a blanket if it doesn't feel comfortable. Take a breath in. Walk your arms a little longer. Feel your hips reach down and back. You can still feel start of those roots from the bottom of the rib cage down into your hips, helping to anchor your hips down. On your next exhale, we'll come up into a long cat pose. Hips will continue to rock forward and down. And when the hips touch down, you'll pull the heart forward. The elbows might be quite bent here. And again, the roots sliding down the side of the spine in through the inseams of the legs, even as you grow your spine in the other direction. And then we'll lower down. Bring your forehead to the mat. Walk your arms straight forward, like you're flying. And then we'll keep the forehead down, but inhale, right arm and left leg up. And then exhale, release. Inhale, left arm and right leg up. And exhale, release. We're going to do that 2 more on each side. Inhale. Inhale. Breathe in. Right arm, left leg lift up. Breathe out, lower them down. And again, inhale, left arm, right leg. And exhale, lower down. Right arm, left leg, lift up, lift the head this time, look forward. You're gonna exhale and bring your right elbow back, sliding that right shoulder blade down your back. And then the right arm will reach back and we'll lower down, keeping the right arm down by your side. Inhale, left arm, right leg, lift up, lift the head. Exhale, the elbow squeezes back. Keep the left arm down and we'll lower. Inhale, lift everything up, arms reaching down by your sides. And then exhale, hands under the shoulders. We'll tip it all back into cobra pose. Feeling the roots slide back as your spine climbs forward and up. Exhale, lower down. Child's pose. Breathe in. Breathe out, long cat pose. Hips forward and down, inhale, cobra. And exhale, lower. Reach the arms forward, inhale. Right arm, left leg, lift up. And lift the chest, look forward. Exhale, elbow back. Squeeze it back. Right arm comes back, lower down. Inhale, left arm, right leg, lift up. Exhale, the elbow squeezes back. Arm reaches back. And we'll lower down. Inhale, lift everything up. Exhale, hands under the shoulders, tip it back. Inhale, grow your spine long. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, child's pose. And exhale, we'll stay here. Just inhale up to tabletop. We're going to set up for a twist. So your knees and your feet press down. We're just going to slide the left arm under. Bring the left shoulder down. Left side of head comes down. And you can hold right onto your left wrist with your right hand. And then before we deepen the twist, make sure you can still feel both of your feet, both of your knees pressing down evenly on the mat. Slide your left root back. So the left side of the spine slides back. And then start to open up your chest to the right. Bring your right hand back down to unwind. Maybe go through some cat-cows here before we do the other side. And then we'll thread the right arm under. You can hold the right wrist. Again, both feet pressing down, both knees nice and solid. And you'll feel the right side of the spine, that root just sliding back as you peel the left chest away from it. And then unwind. More cat-cows if you like. And tuck the toes under. You can reach back and spread the toes out wide. Give a little massage to the bottom of the foot, especially that spot where the heel and the arch come together. You can feel that strong muscle that's connecting down to the big toe. Just kind of the start of the core supports of your body. Wake it up, and then we'll do the other side. Put a little rub. A little extra attention where the heel and the arch meet. Which, if the skeleton is well aligned, this is where the majority of your body weight comes down, right on the spot. Thanking it for all the support. Smacks. Love taps, maybe smacks isn't the right word. And then hands come down, and we're just gonna bring the heels towards the floor, letting them sink down, opening up through the backs of the lower legs. Kind of hovering here. Shift a little bit forward and backward, see how that feels. And then come back into your tabletop. You can untuck the feet. And we'll come into downward facing dog. And you just get your wiggles out. You're pumping through the heels, the hips from side to side. And even as your legs push down through the floor, I want you to imagine that you have a phantom set of legs in line with your spine. So reaching towards the top of the wall behind you. And grow your roots from the rib cage along the sides of the lumbar spine and right up through the inseams of those phantom legs. To get nice and long through the spine. And then we'll actually take the right leg up in that direction. So you don't have to imagine a phantom. You can really feel that length from the right side of the spine all the way up into the foot. Go ahead and look at the space in between the thumbs. Imagine you're holding a beach ball between your elbows, and we're going to slowly bend the elbows towards the floor, any amount. Maybe they tap down, and then straighten the arms again. Inhale. Exhale, step the right foot in between the hands. We're going to anchor the back heel down, setting our legs up for warrior one. So before we come up, nice deep bend in that right knee, so it's over the ankle. And again, feel the roots slide down that left side of spine, left inseam. So you can feel a nice strong anchor in that left heel as you push off the feet and come up. It's the stability of the roots growing down into the legs, into that back foot, that will give your spine freedom to grow up. So you can even like sway it a little bit. See how it feels with a nice strong anchor in your legs. Take a breath in. Exhale, sweep your arms down and back. Bring your chest parallel to the floor. We're going to push off your right foot and lift the left leg up. Again, growing that left root straight back into the wall behind you. And then bring the hands down. Step your left leg back. And we'll straighten the right leg any amount. You can have blocks under your hands to bring the floor closer to you. Definitely recommend that. That outer right hip is going to slide back. Your spine is climbing forward out of those stable roots. And you can stay with more of a halfway lift here, or if there's room to fold down, you can fold down, let your head go. And then we'll rebend the right knee, step back to plank. Breath in here, and exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg back and up. Look forward between your thumbs, like you're trying to hold a little beach ball between your elbows. We'll slowly lower the elbows towards the floor. And then re-straighten. Step forward. However many steps it takes to get your foot between your hands. And then we'll anchor the back heel. Grow your roots nice and long. So you feel the length sliding down the right side of the spine into that right leg. And then we'll inhale, come up, warrior one. Maybe play around with a little wiggle. Gaze at one spot, that's not going to move. Just keep the arms down and back. Chest parallel to the floor. Maybe you just come up on your little tippy toes. Maybe that right leg can lift up. And then we'll bend the knee, step back. Hands come down to the floor or your blocks. And we'll straighten that left leg any amount. So your feet are on the ground, your legs are nice and long, but you could imagine two legs straight back like you are flying. And how does it feel through the hips, the spine, if you imagine sending those roots straight back into your phantom legs?
And then we'll rebend the front knee, step into plank. Lower down. Inhale to cobra pose. Hold here, take your shoulders up by your ears. Back, and then slide them back down. Feel all that space across the collarbones, space for your neck. Let's take another breath in. And then downward facing dog. Good, breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. All right, again, inhale, take your right leg back and up. Look between your thumbs. Slowly lower the elbows down. Like you could tap them on the floor. Yeah, and then press back up. I know this is a lot of work. And then we'll step the foot forward. However it gets up there, right? And then warrior one, come on up. Feel the roots of the pose. And the more you connect into that, to that stability, the more freedom you're gonna have in the upper body. The more freedom you're gonna have for your breathing. All right. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, take the arms down by your sides. Inhale, lift the left leg, step it forward a couple times, and then take it up. And then we're gonna come to standing and bring your left knee up as you take your right leg up. As you take your right arm up. Good, and then right arm's gonna sweep back, left arm's gonna sweep forward as your left leg reaches back. And then stand again, left knee lifts, right arm reaches up. We'll do that 2 more times. All right, this time we're gonna cross the left ankle over the right knee and sit back. Any amount. So this ankle wants some room to move around. So it's far enough over that we're not getting a sickled ankle or a stuck ankle. Whew. Gaze at one spot. You can sit the hips down and back, feeling the roots through the lower spine. Maybe the elbows creep in front of the shin. You could bring your hands down to the floor to blocks. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And then we'll just unwind and stand on both legs. Arms down by your sides. Gaze at one spot. And feel the roots go right down into the floor. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Lengthen your heart forward, roots reach straight back. Exhale, plank to lower. You can catch yourself halfway or continue to lower all the way down. Upward facing dog or cobra as you inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Good, breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, take your left leg up. Feel how long it can get. Look between your thumbs, lower the elbows towards the floor. It might even be enough just to bend the elbows a little bit and you're like, okay. But maybe the elbows touch down and then you re-straighten. And we'll step that left foot forward. Warrior one. Good. Reach the arms down by the sides. As parallel to the floor. Maybe walk that right foot in, lift it up. Good, and then we're gonna play around with this kind of cross-body stuff. So the right knee's gonna lift up as the left arm reaches straight up. Feel those strong roots down through your left leg. And then inhale, right leg reaches back, right arm reaches forward. And then exhale, come on up. 2 more like that. And then stay up. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh, sit your hips back. Hold on to the wall, hold on to the floor, whatever helps you. Find your balance. And then again, you're growing roots down and back, out of your pelvis at the angle of your spine, which should help to grow your spine a little longer in the other direction. Yeah. Okay, are you breathing? How does it feel when you remind yourself, like, oh, right, I'm supposed to be intentionally breathing here? It's like this message permeates into all your cells, like, I'm right here. And then we'll just stand up, feet on the ground, which might just be a relief. And then you're standing in your mountain pose, roots right down through the inner lining of the legs. So sometimes the truth is only as good as the person telling the story, right? And sometimes the person telling the story is you and the story is about yourself. So notice if there's any kind of negative storytelling that's creeping into your practice this morning, and see if you can kind of clear the lenses a bit. Notice if there's any kind of thought processes that start with should. Good, from your solid roots, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Long spine as you inhale. Plank pose, exhale. And so we'll play here in plank. Maybe this pose will give us an opportunity to see what kind of thoughts creep up, what kind of stories creep up. So thoughts are going to happen, right? Where the Viveka comes in, that discriminating awareness, is which thoughts we just take to be true. Like, I can't do this anymore. But I know I've seen you all hold the plank much longer than this, so is that true? Or, I'm only good if I can hold this a little longer. Is that true? Maybe you're just thinking about something Maybe you're just thinking about breakfast. I don't know. Just notice where your thoughts are going. Come back to your breathing. Feel the solid connection of your hands and your feet on the ground as you push the floor away. Let's take one more breath in and then exhale. Child's pose, knees come down, hips come back. It's a good practice. Are my thoughts true, or are they just something someone said to me once that I took in? Are my thoughts true, or are they based on old conditioning that's no longer useful? Are my beliefs true, or did I learn it in my history book that was not fully accurate? Let's inhale and come on up to tabletop and come back into downward facing dog. How are we feeling? Feeling adventurous? I thought so. Inhale, take your right leg back and up. Again, exhale, bend the elbows, lower them any amount towards the floor. And then straighten them back out again. Then we'll step forward. Warrior one. Come on up. Feel your roots. Fly up into warrior three. Arms can come down by your side. And then we'll take the knee up. The right arm up. And we'll just cross that ankle over the knee and sit back. Now, this is going to be plenty for a lot of us. This is a big ask of the hip. So it's a good place to hang out in this little stretch. Maybe you play around with balance, keeping your hands at your heart. Maybe you come down a little lower, bring your hands to the floor, maybe hands onto blocks. There's also the possibility of taking this right leg off the floor. So if you want a little break while I tell you how to do this, you can take a little break and then we'll come back into it. The way that I like to do it, so ankle over thigh, hands come down to the floor or to blocks, and then your left foot curls around the upper right arm. The toes are just like, hello. It's not a place that I usually touch, so I'm gonna enjoy it. Elbows come, so you're bending the elbows just like we did from downward facing dog, and your shin comes onto the back of your elbows like your elbows have made a little, or the back of your upper arms have made a little shelf. Then you gotta look way forward. Remember, way back from the beginning of practice, where we pressed the navel down towards the floor and that helped us to lift the chest and the hips up. This time the navel's going towards the ceiling. Just gonna help keep us lifted, and maybe this foot comes up, maybe it straightens out, and you're still breathing, okay? And it's a lot of work, so I'm out of breath. So, ankle over thigh, stay right there. Hands come to the floor to blocks. Left toes curl around your right upper arm, make that connection. And then you bend the elbows a bit. The shin comes up onto the back of the upper arms. And then you gotta look forward. You look back, it's done. It's a good rule for life, just don't look back, just keep going. Smiles help. And then the stories come in right away, right? Fear. What's true? What's true might be if I try to take my right foot off the ground, I'm gonna face plant. That actually might be true. So you just kind of play around with like, what's the whole body ready for right now? Pulling your navel up towards the ceiling. That's gonna really start to strengthen your core. So it doesn't matter if your foot leaves the ground. Doesn't mean anything about you either way. You're still your wonderful self if you never do a hand balance, okay? So then when you're done playing around on that side, you can stand on both legs and come to mountain pose. Reset the stability, reset your breathing. Sometimes we're just afraid we're gonna fall on our face. And it's actually not what's accurate in the moment based on the amount of energy that you have and how your body's kind of working through things. So if it makes you feel better to just put a pillow under your face, by all means do that. And we're gonna play with the other side. So from those strong roots, inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Long spine, inhale. Hands down, exhale, plank. Lower halfway or onto your belly. Upward facing dog or cobra, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Inhale, the left leg will come back and up. Exhale, elbows towards the floor. And then straighten the arms. And then step it forward. Warrior one. Stay in the moment here. Exhaling the arms down by your sides, chest parallel to the floor. Right leg's gonna come up. And then inhale, right knee up, left arm up. And exhale, ankle over knee. Sitting the hips down and back. Maybe elbows come in front of the shin. Maybe the hands come to the floor or blocks. Maybe you bend the left knee more so that you can put some weight on your hands. Right toes curl around the left upper arm. Your shin comes to the little shelf at the back of the arms, gaze forward. Don't look back. Maybe that back leg reaches out. Maybe it just hovers off the floor, just the toes. Yoga is a practice in attention, right? So there's no single posture, asana, that like, if you can do it, will make you a really good yogi. It's all about the attention. So no one knows how well you're practicing. It's really all what's going on inside. So we do some of these more challenging poses because, you know, they really require you to be present. And they reveal a lot in terms of how we react when we're afraid, when we're faced with something new, with something challenging. So that's really what we're working on. Whether or not your foot leaves the ground means nothing. So when you're done playing around with that, feet on the ground, stand on up. Feel your mountain pose. And then shake it off, shake it all off. All that work, any of the fear that just came up. Shake your hands, stomp your feet, wiggle from side to side. Okay. And then we'll inhale, arms up. And exhale, fold all the way down. Long spine, inhale, look forward, and then exhale, plank. Take a breath in your plank. Exhale, lower halfway or all the way down. Back bend as you inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Walk your hands back to your feet. Lower the hips back down to that little squat. And then we'll just sit down. You can sit on a blanket, on a block, a bolster. And coming to fire log pose. So, just sitting cross-legged might feel like a lot on your hips, so you can just do this. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe you take your left foot and you bring it up. Just like we've been doing since the very beginning, it's up and it's far enough over that the ankle can move around. So the reasoning being is that your lower leg is made up of two bones, right? Your tibia and your fibula. So your knee and your ankle joint has those two bones. When your hip does not want to move, if your hip is really tight, it's going to kind of lock what's going on here. If you also lock your ankle by sickling it out or even just flexing it and really holding that flex, eventually this knee is going to have to shift a little bit to accommodate the pressure that's coming out of the hip. But if we let this ankle kind of hang, it can almost diffuse between those two bones some of the pressure coming out of the hip into the knee so that the knee stays more safe. So anyway, that's the method to the madness. For some of us, ankle over knee, knee over ankle. Ooh. Sorry, did I lose you guys there for a second? I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb and it was not. Who doesn't know that I'm teaching now? Ankle over knee, knee over ankle. This bottom foot, for my hips, it actually feels better if this bottom foot comes in a little closer to my pelvis. So you can play around with that too. And then find your roots. Remember, sliding down the sides of the spine. This time you can imagine that the rest of your body, your legs, everything below the hips, could you imagine that you're in mountain pose? That you have phantom legs in mountain pose? Just feel that. And send the roots all the way down into those phantom legs. Does that provide any more freedom to the hips, to the spine, to maybe then start to fold forward? Again, the answer might be just like, nope. And that's okay. You just breathe with whatever's coming up for you. It's like the belly bolster for me, where it can take a good 10 to 20 breaths. And I already practiced this morning, so that's why things are a little bit more loose. But if this was my first time in this pose, just to get here, would probably take a good 10 to 20 breaths, just a little bit at a time, talking to the hips. And then you practice that discrimination, like what is safe for me? What am I pushing through that I shouldn't be? What am I avoiding that I could maybe look at a little closer? What's true in this moment? And then come on up to the seat. Line those legs, take them out, shake them out. Just like use your hands to kind of help that process. We'll do the other side. It might feel more supportive to have something under this top knee or even under the bottom one. So if there's a lot of space, fill in that space with a blanket, with a pillow. And then feel the roots right down through your phantom legs. Maybe fold forward a bit. Whatever your hips are communicating to you, they want you to listen rather than just ignore and keep going. These hips just got you through a global pandemic. Juggling whatever you had to juggle to make that happen on a daily basis. This whole body just got you through a global pandemic. It continues to work through all of that on a daily basis. And this might not have been the hardest thing you've ever gone through. So just know this, every place that you're holding might have been useful at one point. And these really intimate conversations that you have with yourself in your practice can help discriminate between what's still needed in our systems and what's maybe ready to be left behind. So let's take one more breath in. Go ahead, rock your way up to a seat. Gently unwind your legs. Rock them out a little. Your feet together, knees out wide, and just massage your feet. I've been practicing with Angela Farmer. She's a really, really wonderful yoga teacher. She lives in Greece, and she talks about all the parts of our body as like creatures. She's like these wonderful creatures that just want to know that you remember that they're still alive. My feet often like look and feel like they definitely feel like they maybe are not that much alive. So a little foot massage can go a long way. All right, and then you can hold your big toes. Feel the roots going down through the earth as you grow your spine up out of them. And then we'll fold forward. Your elbows can actually push down through that spot right at your inner shin. And if you kind of tuck the elbows right into that tissue a bit, it might feel a little bit sensitive. This is also part of the muscles that are the core supports of your body. They connect right up into your psoas muscles. And then we'll inhale, come on up and bring the knees together. Back to constructive rest where we started. Extend your legs out in corpse pose. Even if you're not going to stay here for Shavasana, just feel what it's like to be here. And then there's that discriminating awareness that comes in. Do I need support under my neck? Do I need to rebend my knees? How can Shavasana be most free of distraction, both from the sensation in your physical bodies and everything else? How can you feel most supported in this shape? Take a long breath in. And then as you exhale, you'll release the control over your breathing. And as we settle into the backside of the body, we will watch our bodies breathe. Take a long breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. Don't feel as if you need to move. But if you want to sit up to close out practice together, you can roll over to either side, come on up. If I don't see your face, I'll assume you're just shavasanaing into the rest of the day. But if you do come on up to seat, bring your hands to your heart. Feel those roots anchor you into the floor so your heart can grow up a little taller. And we'll close out practice by chanting one Om. Om. Thank you so much. Nice work. Stop the recording here.